Hey everyone, so this is my latest project on the 66 Corvette. This is the Steeroids Rack and Pinion steering kit. I bought it used, which saved me about $400 or $500, and so far the installation went pretty good. I'm really impressed with the kit because it uses the original bolt hole locations as a steering gearbox and the steering linkage that mounts over here. So, it's meant to be a universal kit for C2 and C3 Corvettes, but if any of you guys have one of those year Corvettes, you know that no two frames are alike. I had to do a little bit of modification to get mine to fit right, and you probably will as well. I pulled this hole down about 1/8 of an inch, and then this bracket here, I'm still waiting on the hardware to come in the mail, that's why I don't have it mounted, but I had to grind off quite a bit of it. You know, the frame is made out of 2C channels with this step in between them. The bottom is the same, and as you can see on that bracket, there's a step there. I had to just grind quite a bit of that out in order to get it to fit flush. So, since I bought it used, originally all the brackets are powder coated black, and some of the powder coating was peeling off, so I sanded it all down, painted it gloss black with some Rust-Oleum paint. I replaced the bushings, they're $12 online. There's also one there. And then I replaced the rack. So there's part numbers on the rack. I looked them up, and after a while found out that it's actually a really common steering rack used in a lot of GM cars from the late 80s and early 90s. So the rack only cost me about 80 bucks. I went to 2 different auto parts stores and ordered 2 different racks. Both of them, when I pulled them out of the box, the paint came off on my hand. I figure it's the same company that remanufactures them, and they do a good job on the internals, replacing the seals and everything, but as far as their paint and prep work, it's pretty terrible. So after I bought the second one, I figured that out, and I just decided, all right, I'll buy this one, and that's the one I got here. I took it home and cleaned off all the old paint and painted it with some, well, it's kind of a metallic silver. Turned out really good. So I want to do electric power steering. That's kind of the latest and greatest thing. I think it'll be simpler. I have a lot of experience with wiring and things. I used to be an aircraft electrician and really like electronics and all that stuff. So electric power steering seems to be the way to go. But I did buy a power steering rack. Typically, with electric steering, you're going to use a manual rack. I bought a power rack just in case. And I did some research and found out the only difference really is the internals are slightly different, but you can actually use a power rack as a manual rack if you want. So what I'll do is I'll just pull these lines off, cap the ends, and then on my high and low pressure ports, I'll just make a jumper between the two. And that should work just fine. But if that doesn't work and I can't get the electric steering kit to work or to fit how I want it, then I'll just do power steering with the regular pump. And that's it for the rack and pinion steering. Can't wait for the day that I can actually drive this car and try that out. So the front end's pretty much done, except an alignment and wheels and tires. And now I'm starting on the rear end work. My last video I showed I had the differential and fuel tank cross members installed, and I just got these washers. These go on the differential cross member bushings, and they're supposed to just stiffen it up. So we'll see how those work. Fuel tank's mounted now. Let's see. I want to do an LS engine, and so I'm probably going to end up doing a video here in the next couple months, sometime during the summer. I'm going to modify this fuel tank and put an internal pump in it, and then probably a regulator somewhere over here on the frame rail. That should be a fun project. Also, one of the next things we're going to do is 355 differential. I pulled my old differential, started pulling it apart, got the rear piece of the case off and started sandblasting it. and it's in pretty good shape. So that'll probably be the next thing to get to is not sure if I'm gonna have this one rebuilt or buy one, but I had some spare time, so I thought I'd see how difficult it was to blast. And the other thing I just thought about on this rack and pinion steering is the clearance. Now the bottom of the car, I don't think there's going to be any issues. I've seen other people with the same kit, and the problems they had were on the headers and on the oil pan. I think those problems can easily be solved, so we'll get to them when we get an engine on. A lot of other people have to grind an area out here. I think I got lucky. I got about 1/4 of an inch of space there. But that's it. That's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, guys. And more videos coming. Take care.